Why it's better to freeze bread before consumption. Beneficial frozen bread, another social media trendy rumor or reality. As everyone knows, and it's obvious, there are so many rumors on social media, so many things that we might think are just lies and we easily pass them just because they are in contrast with our beliefs and opinions. There is no harm in taking a look and checking any theorem we face with. Seems hard to change your opinion. Many people tend to follow their past habits, like the time that trying to provide fresh bread for breakfast is considered a good habit for many people, but suddenly someone comes and introduces another opinion. Frozen bread is healthier than fresh ones. It's normal to resist at first, but try to think logically. Who really knows what's true or false? Let's consider it. In this video, we will evaluate the question, is frozen bread really healthier for our bodies? And then it will be time to discuss the reason for the probable positive answer. Let your bread get frozen and then toast. It is something introduced as a food tip. But is it really as important as the way it gets trendy in TikTok and other social media? The science behind it is actually sound, albeit a little confusing. But the actual health effects are not nearly as significant as they've been made out to be. But how can freezing and melting make a loaf of bread healthier for us? Dwayne Malore, head of the medical department and Aston School of Nutrition, has answered. As the bread bakes, it turns the moist, bubble-filled dough into a soft loaf. The starch in the flour expands and becomes gelatinous because of the heat of the oven and the water of the dough. The same thing will happen when the flour is added to the sauce in the next step. Now we have freshly cooked starchy bread. According to a fact about freshly cooked starchy foods, their gelatinized starches are easier to digest, and the glucose that these starches contain is easier for our cells to get hold of. Some evidence suggests that this kind of rapidly available glucose might increase insulin levels just after eating. It may come to your mind, what is the role of insulin? And what if insulin levels increase? Although insulin is important as it helps our cells use glucose for energy, too much insulin could cause you to feel hungrier and possibly even gain weight. Anyway, we should go back to our process. Now it's time that gelatinized starch turn to what's known as a resistant starch by freezing. These collapsed starches are harder for the enzymes in our digestive tract to break down, which means it's also harder for our cells to get hold of the sugar these starches contain. As a result, resistant starches are less likely to cause a blood sugar and insulin spike after eating them, so we can gain less sugar just by freezing bread before consumption easily. Cooling bread can be in the refrigerator or freezer both. The rate of contraction is nearly twice in the freezer as it is in the refrigerator, meaning that the more resistant starch will be formed by freezing. Plus, freezing bread traps the water in, keeping it fresher and softer than if you stored it in the fridge, where water will be lost, causing the bread to go hard. Now you may be somehow confused, but let me summarize what I explained to clarify and conclude. Freezing bread and toasting bread both change the starch, making it less easy to digest. Therefore, your body does not quickly convert the starch to sugar, and therefore your blood sugar does not spike so rapidly. For many people, this is better in that more of the starch is left for your gut bacteria to digest over time, rather than you right away. That's all I tried to say. While these changes may seem quite dramatic, they are short-term, so their effects on our long-term health are more modest. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't still freeze your bread, or you should stop freezing. Putting a loaf of bread in the freezer can reduce food waste with the added bonus of some health benefits, even if small. As I mentioned first, sometimes it's not bad to down our guard against new tips. It may help us. Anyway, attitudes change, and we should change too. Happy to have you beside us in another video too. and thanks for watching.